Welcome back to Perkins Pipes. I'm obviously recording this in the fall here in Indiana. It's actually November, although this video is coming out on December the 23rd. It would have been my parents' 56th wedding anniversary, and it is coming out exactly 1 year and 1 day after the passing of my mom. She passed last year in 2023 on December the 22nd. Because that's just when this video would be slated to come out, I wanted to do a little something in recognition of them. So, of course, I'm bringing out my Bing's favorite because of my mom, Bing Crosby, the golf clubs because of my dad. Certainly love this wonderful pipe. Got the IU stuff going on because of my dad, but also I've got, let's see, there it is, over here, I've got the Indiana State Sycamores button because that's where my mom went to undergrad. So got a little something on for everybody. So, as always, let's get this guy lit. Let's get to talking. So, obviously you know what, I think I said that wrong. This will be their 57th wedding anniversary. They were married on December 23rd, 1967. So yeah, so 57th wedding anniversary. And I remember as a boy growing up, they would always have their regular Christmas gifts under the tree, you know, as we got closer to Christmas. And then there would always be a separate place around the tree where they would put their anniversary presents for each other. Because it was a Christmas time wedding, and the reason for that was because they were both teachers. At that time, they were both teaching elementary school, my mom teaching 4th grade, and my dad teaching 6th grade at the same school. They wanted to get married over Christmas break, and then they went to Florida, Fort Lauderdale for their honeymoon. So had a little bit of time there during the middle of the year. Because of that, my mom's mother, so my maternal grandmother, every year, or many years, in fact, I think all the way up until she passed, and then I think my mom continued the tradition until the company stopped making them. The company of Reed and Barton produced these beautiful silver bells, and the Christmas bells with the year. And so my grandma would give one to my parents each year for their anniversary, and it became part of our Christmas decorations for a long time. I remember my dad polishing those at Christmas time. Had some red velvet cord that they would hang them from until they just got to be too many over the years, and then they would set them out around on different things and so forth. And then my mom did something similar for my wife and me when we got married. IU, Indiana University, which is where my wife and I went for undergraduate, produced Christmas ornaments. And so my mom would get us the IU Christmas ornament every year. Did that up until IU stopped doing that, and we still put those on our tree. So some nice Christmas traditions. I remember also that as I got older, say up around junior high, so for us here, or at least at that time in the United States, junior high was grades 7, 8, and 9. So I was age 13 through 15, right in there. My parents loved coffee. Love coffee. I'm not the biggest coffee person, to be honest. If anything, I prefer Earl Grey tea. I'll drink coffee, Not really a big fan, and this may put some people off, and you may unsubscribe from my channel because I'm going to say this. I'm not a fan of the caffeine. If I drink coffee, I prefer decaf. It just gets me too wired, makes me a little lightheaded, and I don't enjoy that sensation. But my parents loved their coffee. And we lived in southern Indiana, just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. And so we'd be over at the malls, and in junior high, of course, I'm able to kind of run around the malls by myself. Didn't need my parents' supervision, and I would slip into a legendary coffee shop called John Conti, C-O-N-T-I. And I would buy them a sampler of coffees, and that became my annual anniversary gift for them. So this time of year, I will always associate, of course, obviously Christmas, but also my parents' wedding anniversary. I just want to say a little bit about my parents. It's really what I'm going to talk about in this episode. My dad passed away in 2009. He had prostate cancer, but then he'd had some other things as well. He had a couple of heart attacks. There had been an AVM in his brain. He'd had I think a couple of brain bleeds, but eventually the cancer spread and that kind of thing. And so he passed away in 2009. I was blessed to be there when it happened. Was holding his hand and singing hymns to him while he was in the process of passing from this life to the next. Great blessing. I was able to do something similar with my wife's dad when he passed away in 2011. And then my mom continued to live on her own in my childhood home for many years. In fact, until golly, let's see. She had a few health issues around 2019. She came up to stay, had to do a little bit of physical rehab up near where we live. Stayed with us for a while. While she did that, my wife, who, I've not said enough about my wife, and I'll say that she's a saint. She is so caring for so many people. Me, our children, her family, and she's an incredible giver of herself. And in 2019, we would go down about 2 hours away to southern Indiana, and we did a lot of work and cleaning and remodeling of my mom's house so she could come back in and kind of have a better experience there. That was right before COVID hit. Then, let's see, in 2022, I guess it was, she had fallen, and there had been some other things, and it's like, okay, it is time. You have to come up and be near us. And so very, very close behind us, in fact, really just over my left shoulder, so going that way, point that way, there's a nursing home and assisted living, and right next to that were some independent living, they called them cottages, basically little apartments. So still independent living. And so we got her into one of those. Cute little place, absolutely darling little place. Our daughter really, really liked helping to decorate Grandma's new place. And we were able to walk behind us, just walk over to Grandma's house, Grandma's apartment basically, and spend some time with her. And so that was very, very good. And she had about a year there. I was able to have one Christmas there, which she enjoyed very much. Had a nice little tree outside that we decorated for her, and that sort of thing. And then in Let's see. It would have been uh, Valentine's Day of 2023. She had a pretty serious fall. I would go to see her every day after school, and I'd usually call her, let her know I'm coming. She would walk out. She would raise her garage door. I would come in through the garage. Occasionally, she wouldn't answer the phone. She'd taken a nap and fallen asleep. So that particular day, my wife and I were going to go out to eat that evening with a couple of friends, and I'm headed over to my mom's, and I called two or three times. She didn't answer. Like, she fell asleep. In her back door with my key, and the second she heard the door opening, she cried out from the front, the living room area, help. Well, I literally flew down the very, very short hallway there, and there she was on the floor. And the remnants of her breakfast were broken and scattered on the floor. She had lain there for about 11 to 12 hours, I believe. And she had gotten her breakfast from her kitchen, was carrying it over to the sofa, and she fell. Could not reach her phone. Her phone was on the sofa, and there was no way she could reach it. And so she had lain there for all that time. Immediately got her into the hospital, of course. She had broken her hip. And there was some indication to think that maybe the hip had already been cracked, and it wasn't so much the fall that broke it, but it could be that the hip itself broke, and that's what caused her to fall, actually. And she never fully recovered from that. They put in the rods and screws and all that kind of thing. We got her into then a nursing home. She never really took well to the physical therapy, and the remainder of 2023, then she was in that nursing home. Of course, we'd go see her all the way up through my birthday and our son's birthday, which both are in November. She was alert and wanted to participate in birthday things. And well, as we got into December, things started taking a serious downturn, and then, of course, came the time when she just stopped eating and was basically sleeping and so forth. So we were with her. Once again, great blessing. Had so many friends, some family members who traveled to see her because they wanted the chance to see her while she was still alert and so forth. One of my friends, Doug, who plays some guitar, he came over a couple times with his acoustic guitar, and we just sat and sang hymns with my mom, which she just dearly loved. I read to her from her Bible, and she watched endless repeats of the Andy Griffith Show on TV. And then she passed, like I say, on the 22nd of December in 2023, so the day before what would have been her anniversary with my dad. So, you know, I've talked about both of them a lot, and they're both educators, both teachers, and then my dad became a principal. Both got their master's degrees, especially a significant achievement for my mom, who was born in 1937, small Indiana town of Scottsburg. For a girl to even go on to college, get an undergraduate degree, that was a pretty big deal, and certainly for her to go on to the University of Wisconsin to get her master's degree was quite a big deal. My dad got his master's at the University of Michigan. Definitely a Big Ten family. Back when the Big Ten only contained 10 schools. It's no small thing to say that I would not be a teacher, would not be doing what I'm doing, were it not for that, the influence of my parents, who certainly made sure that I had everything I needed in terms of my education growing up, but also inspirations in so many ways in terms of my professional career. my mom had taken to, in oh golly, probably, who knows, last 10, 15 years even, getting me every year for Christmas an Italy calendar. For me to hang up in my classroom because I'm a Latin teacher. So I see little things like that. There's all sorts of things. I see evidence of my dad in me. So really, this episode was just a bit of reminiscence in honor of my parents. Please, would love to hear some thoughts from you. If your parents have passed away, if your parents are still with us, perhaps share some special stories about mom or dad, or both. As Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing. Or as I say in Latin, Parva ut tandem, nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.